All righty. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this special. Well, actually, it's not a special episode. It's actually Doug's Dugout, episode number 4. It was our episode that we've been chasing Doug for over a month, but due to my physical impairments, we haven't been able to have the show. So, Doug, welcome back.
Glad to be back, Danny.
I'm getting really frustrated here. I only have half a leg working right now, you know?
That's better than no legs at all, I guess.
Yeah, as I told you earlier, if Sleepy Joe and I ran a race together, he'd probably win the race right now.
He'd probably cheat.
Maybe. Maybe he'd hire what's his name, Alvin Bragg, or what's the DA up in New York or something to
Alvin Bragg, yeah.
Yeah.
Alvin Bragg, yeah. 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 Yeah.
All
Maybe
right.
Hunter will give him maybe Hunter will give him a snort off his crack pipe or something,
Maybe.
Maybe you
But
never know.
anyway, I'm hoping to be back full time again, but like I said, it's been kind of difficult. So, and as you can see, we're back in Studio A. I've decided to stay away from Studio B. I don't want to have any more, unexpected falls or anything like that. The hospital emergency room is too expensive these days.
I can imagine.
All
I've
righty.
never
Well, I know it's been a
I,
few weeks, and so what's going on in the MLB? How are your Redbirds doing? I think the last time we spoke before you heading off to Corpus, they were doing pretty good. So why don't you give us a little bit of background what's going on with your Redbirds, and also tell us,
yeah.
maybe give us some insight on your recent trip to Corpus to see the little Redbirds.
Yeah, we uh the month of June was very good for the Redbirds. We started playing a little bit better ball at the end of May, and then June I think we went like 16-7 or something like that, and everything's coming together. Um, the guy I always watch is Mason Wynn because I saw him 2 years ago in Corpus Christi, met his parents and stuff,
Yeah.
and he's playing shorts. He plays shortstop. Number 0 is his battle jersey, and he's hitting about 300, close to 300. He's playing excellent defense. He's a good two-strike hitter, playing good. Kind of a surprise was a guy named Burleson. He's a big burly guy. Um, Not really flashy, but boy, that guy can hit. He's playing in right field, and even with all the injuries we've had, is that we're playing really good ball. Contreras went down about the first week in June. I said, "Oh shit, there goes the season."
Yeah.
Our catcher, but he's back now. He was supposed to be out till August, but he's back already. He's been playing for about a week and a half now. We've got we've only got a couple players on the DL that are worth anything, and that's Tommy Edman and Lars Newtbar. Newtbar will probably be back next week, and Edman's going to be probably back in August. But pitching's been good. Relief pitching. Our closer, Ryan Helsley, he's got 31 saves now. He
Mm-hmm.
leads America. He leads the baseball, all of baseball in saves. Um, the three old guys that we picked up during the off season, Lance Lynn, Gibson,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other guy I forget. They've pitched extremely well, and so everything's kind of coming along pretty good. Donovan's playing left field, playing really good baseball. Garman, I don't know, Garman, he's not hitting the Mendoza line, but he does leave the cards and homers and RBIs. But in my opinion, they need to set him down. I think they'll set him down when Tommy Edman comes back.
Yeah.
But if we could only get Goldschmidt and Arenado, Goldschmidt's starting to hit a little bit now, and he's hitting a couple. He's hit a few homers, and Arenado's always plays good third base, but he's having his trouble at the plate. But occasionally he gets a hit and stuff. So overall, they're playing pretty good. And the big surprise, there's a center fielder that when Newbar went down, there's a kid named Siani. It's a rookie, and he plays a very, very good defensive center field. And he came up, he wasn't hitting very well, but
Mm,
now he's starting to hit. And he's hitting about 230, 240. And he's a young kid, so he's just, I don't know, he's only been in organized baseball for a couple of years, so he's playing good too. So overall, it's been a very pleasant experience. We're we got beat tonight by the Pirates 5-4, but we were 4 games over 500, which is good.
mm.
We're in second place.
Yeah,
We're trying to catch Milwaukee. But we're
yeah.
doing fine.
Now
And of course,
you,
so
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
The big news is, King Kong over at the Yankees. Okay, I mean he's just, you know Aaron Judge. He's 6'7",
Yeah,
right-handed power hitter, and he's hitting with an average. He's hitting like 321, and the homers too. He hits a lot of homers and RBI. I think he's got like 82 RBIs.
wow.
You know, he's the big guy, and even Shoni Otani, even being just a DH because he had Tommy John surgery, so he's not ready to come back till next year
Yeah,
pitching. Yeah, I think he's got 40 homers already.
wow,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
So I know that you went
So,
up to Corpus to watch the Little Redbirds. Did you see any potential promising players that may move up into the big leagues?
yeah, I saw a few. We saw the baby birds. We were supposed to go Wednesday night. It rained, a tropical storm, but we went anyway, and we just stayed in the hotel. And then knowing that they would be playing a doubleheader the next day, so we got there at, I think the game started at 4:30, the first game, and we got to see a doubleheader.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think the right fielder, a young kid, I think he's a couple years away. I think he'll be okay. And I think I can't remember his name, but the catcher seems to be pretty good too.
Hmm. So
So yeah.
what's the process that happens for these guys to move up? I mean, I know that they can also move them back down, but what's the process? How does that
Well,
work?
what happens is that what they do is they sign them, they draft them.
Hmm.
Okay, they have an international draft, which is all over the world, like South America and Japan and all over, and then they have another draft. Okay, and then they sign the ball players. Some of them have college, some of them don't. Okay, it all depends. And then they send them to rookie camp. And in the Cardinals case, it's down in Florida. Okay, and they at Palm Springs, is it? Yeah, I think it is Palm Springs, Florida. And they're down there. And they play a year or so, and they teach them some stuff, teach them how they should play baseball and things like that. They do pretty good on that. Then they bring them up to A ball, which is in Peoria, Illinois, and they usually last a year there. They usually
Hmm.
play in, okay, and then the second year they bring them up to Springfield, Missouri. That's the Baby Birds of Easy. That's Double A,
Hmm.
and depending how they do, and if they do well in spring training, sometimes they get a spring training invitation, and so they do well on that. Well, then they do pretty good in Double A. They looks like they're playing above what the league is. Well, they'll bring them up to Triple A, which is in Memphis.
Wow.
Okay, and then Memphis is a lot of ball players that they're on the way down. A lot of them are sometimes they're on the way down. Some veterans are trying to hang on for a year or two, but they really don't mess with them much anymore. You know, they just they go DFA. They designate for assignment. And but the Triple A team is pretty. I mean, Cardinals Triple A team is pretty good. I mean, there should be some major leaguers on that. Jordan Walker. Okay, he started the year, played last year, played with the Cardinals, did very well. He couldn't hit this year, so they sent him down to AAA for some seasoning. He plays right field, and Victor Scott the third. And then what the Cardinals do, they use the AAA especially if they have a schedule that they have to use a lot of pitching.
Mm-hmm.
What they do is they bring a kid up, okay, and then they pitch him, and they option him back down to Memphis, and then they bring another kid up,
Right.
okay, and that keeps them from, they get into a week of double headers or they use a relief corps. They just did that with a couple of young kids. They bring them up for one game and they pitch, and then they send them back down again.
Mm.
Okay, and then usually at the end of the AAA season, okay, at the end of about the first week in September, second week of September, if they do real well, they get invited to the Arizona Fall League, and that's like an all-star league.
Right.
Okay, and so there's several teams, and there's no team owns them. It's like
Yeah.
you might have a couple guys from the Yankees, you might have a couple guys from the Cardinals, whatever. It's like an all-star league.
Yeah.
Okay, and they play and they do real well in the Arizona Star Fall League, and then they get invited to the spring training.
Wow.
So we're going back to Corpus Christi, and no, I'm sorry, we're going to San Antonio in September. The
Okay.
Baby Birds. There's a San Antonio team called the San Antonio Missions.
Okay.
Okay, and the Baby Birds play them in San Antonio the second week in September.
Oh, wow.
For a couple of games for a week, and then the season's over with for them.
Yeah.
We
Cool.
yeah we went to the last time we were in San Antonio, we found the stadium where to go. It's like 5 minutes away from our son's house.
Yeah.
Okay, and and so that was great. But Corpus Christi was good, and it was a tropical rainstorm. We get down there, big rain, and we got down. The stadium it's called Whataburger Field.
Correct.
Okay, and that big bridge there in Corpus Christi.
Right.
Okay, you
Can't
look
remember the
down.
name of it, but I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and you look down, look at the ballpark, and then they're building that big bridge. Okay,
Right.
and we could sit there watching the game, and we could see the elevator going up and down on that big bridge. And it looks like to me, I mean, they've been building that bridge for like forever.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
they still don't have it. They got two sides, and hopefully they meet, but they haven't met yet. And then they got a cage, for an elevator. You can see the cage going up and down. The guy's working.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah, but Whataburger Field's fine. Yeah, I encourage anybody going to Corpus Christi to see a baseball game. We got excellent seats, Danny.
Yeah.
Okay, premium seats for $30.
Wow. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
That is definitely pretty good.
yeah. And we didn't sit. We had seats behind the Cardinal dugout,
Yeah.
but the Cardinal dugout is on the first base side. Well, that time of day, the sun is on the first base side.
Ah.
So we sat under. I told her, I said, let's just sit, first row down, up, and that way they get the overhang,
Right.
and gave us shade, right?
Yeah.
And nobody said anything, of course, because there wasn't a whole lot of people there. And then we watched the game there, and I believe those were better seats than the original seats were.
Yeah. Wow.
So we're going to go to a game. We're going to go to Minnesota at the end of August. The Cardinals play the Twins at Target Field in Minnesota. So I'm taking the daughter and the new baby, and
Right.
Jace and Chris and Diva and I were all going to go to see the Cardinals play the Twins. We'll probably go on a Sunday, and then I'm thinking about going maybe with just buy a ticket for me and her, or me and Chris, or whatever, like Friday night or Saturday night,
Right.
because they're there again. They live in Minneapolis. It's like, God, it's like 10 minutes away, 15
Yeah.
minutes away.
Yeah.
And Minneapolis, it's really easy to get in and out of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got our virtual iPad up tonight, and we'll go ahead and do our usual look at the standings. And we'll start off in the American League East. Right now, you've got the Baltimore Orioles. They've got 54 wins and 31 losses.
Great team. There's a kid named Gunnar Henderson that's just smacking the ball all over the place. They're
Mm-hmm.
definitely a contender.
And I see that the Yankees have definitely improved from last year. They're in second place in that division.
Well, Aaron Judge, and then they picked up Juan Soto too.
Yeah,
Okay, big
yeah,
payroll, big
yeah.
payroll.
And of course, in third place, you've got the Red Sox.
Yeah, the Red Sox kind of surprised. A lot of people didn't think they were going to do anything.
Yeah,
There's an ex-Cardinal on there named Tyler O'Neill that played left field for us. Everybody said that Tyler O'Neill had plenty of potential, but he was always getting hurt. And
yeah,
then last year, the year before, he was hurt just about the whole year. And he kind of got a disagreement with the Cardinal manager. So this year they moved him.
yeah,
They traded him away, and he's playing when he's there again. He has a trouble staying healthy, but when he's healthy, I think he's got like 15 or 20 homers, and he's playing okay. Plays good defense.
yeah. Any surprise with the Tampa Bay Rays or the Toronto Blue Jays? They're at the bottom there.
Everybody kind of thought Toronto would be much better. They're definitely, when it comes down to the trade deadline, they're definitely going to be a seller. They may be selling Bo Bichette or Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but everybody thought they would be battling up for the top. Tampa Bay's been a big disappointment.
Weren't they doing better last year, Tampa Bay?
Yeah, the Cardinal. There's an ex-Cardinal named Skip Schumacher that's manager,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody likes Skip, and they've had some troubles internally. The pitching staff went down with injuries right off the first of the season, and what happened was that, and then they fired the general manager, which I don't know what her name is, but she's a Japanese lady,
Mm-hmm.
and she's been in baseball for like 30 years, and she's really, really, really good. And the owner is kind of odd. He's kind of weird. Okay. And so he fired her. And so I look for Skip to get fired this year, too. So we'll
Mm-hmm.
see what happens.
Well, in the American League Central, the Cleveland Indians. Oops, sorry. That was not politically correct. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. The Cleveland Guardians.
Always be the Indians to me. Yeah. Guardians. Good team.
Yeah,
They're battling with the Twins.
yeah, yeah. The
Twins have had, Carlos Correa. They used to play for the Astros.
yeah.
He's been on fire. He plays shortstop for the Twins. He's been on fire.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of course, he's freezing his little hiney up in Minnesota. Not as warm as it is playing in
Yeah, I just
Texas, right?
checked. Yeah, Taylor is out camping tonight, and I just checked the temperature, and it's like I think it's 67.
Oh my gosh, that's cold. That's freezing.
Yeah, yeah,
And the Kansas City Royals, they're in third place there.
yeah. They got some. They got some Bobby Witt Jr. and a couple other ball players. They're coming on strong. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah, they're a good team.
And the White Sox, they're at the bottom of the barrel there.
Yeah, I can honestly say that's the worst team in baseball. Okay, is the White Sox. That and the
It's
Colorado Rockies.
it's great for that title to belong to somebody else, doesn't it, Doug?
Yes, it does.
And of
There's a decent pitcher. They got a pitcher. They're going to be probably sellers at the rating trade deadline,
yeah,
and they've got a pitcher that's pretty good. They may be trading him away. I'd like to see the Cardinals get him for a
right.
fifth starter.
And of course, in the American League West, you've got the Mariners, 47 wins and 40 losses. And since the last time we had a show, we were pretty much writing the obituary in the Astros, but it looks like they've creeped up to second place. What's been going on with them?
Yeah, they've got hot. Um, Seattle's got their pitching staff is fantastic. They
Yeah,
really got a good pitcher, and J Rod is that's their big gun.
yeah,
And so they're fine. And the
yeah,
Astros, they dumped their first baseman. They designated for assignment, and his name was Abreu, I think it was.
yeah.
And he
A
was supposed
brew.
to be a big slugger, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then of
So they're
course,
looking for a first baseman.
the Texas Rangers, they're in third place. Didn't
Yeah, they're
who went who went over from? Didn't somebody from the Cardinals went over to play for them?
yeah, Jordan Montgomery.
Montgomery. That's
Um,
right.
yeah, he's in, but he's in Arizona now with a inflamed knee. He's on the DL list.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course you've got L.A. and Oakland at the bottom there of that division.
Well, what can you say about the Raiders? I mean, about the
The
Athletics.
Athletics. Yeah. Well, the
You
Raiders
know,
too.
they started out playing pretty good ball, but they just don't have the depth. You
Yeah.
know.
And then of course in the National League East you've got the Phillies, 56 wins, 29
Yeah.
losses.
Pretty
And
awesome team.
yeah,
Pretty awesome team. They got everything firing on 8 cylinders. I mean, they good pitching. Um, good hitting. Good catching. I think Harper's out with a minor injury,
yeah.
but I think he'll be back pretty soon.
And the Braves, they're still there, second place.
Braves always be there.
Yeah.
They
And
always
Bill
figure out a way to
O'Reilly must
win.
be very happy that his New York Mets are in third place.
He's very happy. As a matter of fact, on his podcast the other day, he went to the ball game and he was bragging at the end of each episode. He kind of says stuff that's not pertaining to the news. Okay,
Yeah.
and he was at the game and he said, "Oh, being a celebrity, I get to meet certain people." And he was up in the press box up there, where the rich people live.
Right.
Okay, and he was up there and they showed him talking to Daryl Strawberry,
Yeah.
and they had, of course, so O'Reilly's always wanting to sell a book.
Right, of
So,
course.
he said that, Daryl Strawberry, good guy. Uh, he's a minister.
Yeah.
And Strawberry was asking him about a book that O'Reilly wrote a few years ago called Killing Jesus. Wanted to find out where he got the information from.
Oh yeah, that was a book. That was a book that O'Reilly wrote.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
not a
haven't
bad
read
book.
it, but I know that he wrote it.
Soon. No, it's a good book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course you've got the Nationals and the Marlins down at the bottom of that league. Not too surprising, I
Yeah.
guess, with Washington, right? So,
Yeah, they started playing a little bit ball, but they kind of fell down a little bit, quite
yeah.
a bit.
And then in the National League Central, you've got the Milwaukee Brewers, 51 wins and 35 losses, followed by your
Yeah,
Redbirds in second place, 44 wins and
yeah.
41 losses.
Milwaukee's got a big. They're starting pitching. They don't have any starting pitching. They traded away Corbin Burns over the winter, and um another guy, and they man they're winning. They're winning by bullpen by the committee,
Yeah,
and the Cardinals. We already talked about the Cardinals.
yeah. And
Pittsburgh may be a team to watch. The Cardinals are playing them now. They finally got some good young ball players, and the management finally decided to hang on to them.
yeah,
So they signed a lot of good young ball players to long-term contracts, which is kind of like not like the Pittsburgh Pirates.
yeah,
Usually, what happens, they're up until they go free agency, and then they go free agency and go to another team.
Yeah.
Cubs have
And
been a big disappointment.
yeah, look at that. Very big disappointment. There was a lot of promise this year from them, and look at them. They're at the bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, the National League West, the LA Dodgers, no surprise there, 53
No
wins and
surprise there. I mean, they've got everybody. I mean, their pitching staff is pretty much banged up, but there again, the Dodgers brought up a couple kids and they're pitching good. So,
yeah,
and probably the month of July and August, they're probably going to get some of their veterans back.
yeah. And the Padres seem to be doing a whole lot better than they were last year. Look at that. You know.
Yeah, they've got this kid named Merrill that's a rookie that plays center field for him.
Yeah.
You mix him with, Fernando Tatis Jr. and a couple other ball players they have on there, and it's a good mix. And they've got a good manager. I've always liked their manager. See, he used to manage the Cardinals.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Shelt did. Okay. And then they had a disagreement in the Cardinals, and he took him to the division a couple times, and then they fired him in the off season.
Yeah.
Philosophical differences. And then Shelt, he finally hooked up with the Padres. So Shelt's a good manager.
Yeah. And then, of course, you've got San Francisco in third.
And, yeah, I don't expect too much from the San Francisco Giants this year.
Yeah. And, of course, the Diamondbacks and the Rockies are down at the bottom of their division.
Yeah, I think the Diamondbacks will probably make a move after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Coming up. And, the Rockies are going to be perennial losers.
Now, when's the All-Star break? When's that scheduled?
I think it's a week from next Tuesday.
All right.
So they'll have, they always have the home run derby on a Monday night. Then they have the All-Star game on a Tuesday night.
Right.
And then they take the day off on a Wednesday. And some teams play on Thursday, and some teams don't.
Yeah.
And then, start the second half. And then at the end of July, we'll have this trading deadline.
Yeah. And how's your MLB TV package working out for you?
I'm very happy with it. I've had it for years.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about it is that, well, for example, the All-Star break, I won't be able to watch All-Star break.
Yeah.
Okay. And the All-Star game, so it happens every year. And what they do is Fox has that contract, and so they black everything out.
Oh wow!
Okay? So you have to go to cable TV to watch it.
Yeah.
And also sometimes on Sunday Night Baseball, when the Cardinals are playing on Sunday Night Baseball, that's an ESPN deal, and I can't afford ESPN, and so that's blacked out on ESPN.
Yeah, it's kind of like what CNN did to me last week during the debate. That I couldn't watch it because if I was a Spectrum customer, I needed to be subscribing to the Spectrum streaming service. So they blocked me from actually watching the debate through the regular CNN app. I had to go to a pirated app to actually watch it.
But you could have watched it on Fox, though.
No, because I only have internet service. I don't have cable through Spectrum.
Okay, because I watched it on Fox, and also too, you could have watched it on YouTube also.
Well,
YouTube,
I was having
YouTube Live.
I was having all sorts of problems, so I was not a happy.
I bet.
Camper.
I bet.
I was definitely not a happy camper. So.
Well, there was only one guy showed up. Okay, the other guy felt. He literally said that he fell asleep. He said that. Yeah.
It was a cold.
He was up.
It was a cold. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. It was, jet lag. Okay. It was a cold, bad night. Okay. Underprepared, overprepared. I mean, they only built a studio for him and had Steven Spielberg for a director and had 16 people coaching him.
I could have lent him Studio B down here,
Huh?
I could have lent him Studio B down here.
Yeah, you could have done that, and then not only that is it, it's like, uh, the guy, how could he have jet lag? God, he's on going back and forth to Europe. Hell, he's on Air Force One. I mean, it's got a bed in it and everything else. He's got everybody, whatever he wants, they beckon to him. He wants a back rub. Poor old Dr. Jill will be rubbing his back and stuff. And, you know,
Well, well, let's stop because we don't want to get our Democratic fans upset. you know.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well, yeah, but as KJP would say, every minute of the day, he's fighting for the American people. Even though he may be taking a nap during the debate rehearsal, they didn't start before 11 o'clock, and then in the afternoon, he took a nap,
well,
and they quit at 4.
it's after 4 o'clock. He doesn't work after 4 o'clock.
Doesn't work after 4 o'clock. Well, there's Winston Churchill took a nap every afternoon, okay?
Yeah,
Okay. There's a big difference between Biden and Winston Churchill.
yeah. And Winston
Yeah.
was a lot heavier.
Yeah. He always had that cigar in one hand,
Yeah.
and he had that champagne glass of the other,
Well, at least he used the cigar the right way, unlike other former executives.
There you go.
All righty, Doug. Well, I'm glad that we had episode number 4. And hopefully, we can come back next week and see how your Redbirds are doing and see how everybody else is doing across the league. Once again, everybody, we are back officially. I'm with half a leg back, but I'm back. And, we'll have a few more podcasts here scheduled. We are still waiting for launch, hopefully, here in a few weeks. So we're looking forward to that. So we'll be covering that live as well. So
Let's call him half a leg Danny.
yeah, that's
Half a
right.
leg, yeah.
All righty, Doug.
Peg leg Danny.
Peg leg, yeah. All
Peg
right,
leg.
Doug. Well, that's it, everybody,
Okay.
for tonight's episode. Doug, thank you for joining us, and have a great time over the next 2 days bike riding and enjoying hopefully the weather before the weather gets crummy.
Hey, life is good. I get up in the morning, and the first thing I turn on is there's a Russ is right. He's an e-bike rider up in Chicago.
Yeah.
And then about that time, MLB Central comes on.
Yeah.
Okay, I watch that, and I switch back and forth to Fox News, and then I kind of chill out the rest of the day, and then maybe go swimming, and then about 6:30, 7 o'clock, turn on the Cardinal game.
Yeah.
About 7 o'clock, I get on the bike and I do my 20 miles.
See, it's paradise down here in South Texas. Why would you want to leave? All righty, everybody. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week, same time, same channel, hopefully same day. Doug, have a great evening.
Okay, good night, Danny. Good night, everybody. See you
Bye-bye.
later. Bye-bye.
All righty, Doug. I believe
Okay,
we are
Dan.
done. All right. I will talk to you tomorrow.
Take care.
All righty. Bye-bye.